And welcome back to the CBB Talk with Will Dickinson. We got another packed episode here today. We got to talk about some of the results in the last 2 days. I thought this was going to come out on Saturday, but no, I got to take the ACT. So this will be coming out on Friday. We got to talk about Wednesday and Thursday games, and we're going to look forward to the weekend because this is the first great college basketball weekend. College football is not really on this weekend, so this is college basketball season starting now. We got a lot of great matchups. Can't wait to talk about them. But let's dive into what happens first on Thursday, where Michigan State gets a win at Penn State to start off their Big Ten season right. A big game from AJ Hoggard, 23 points, leads that team. Again, without Malik Hall, this team has not been great. It struggled, and this is a big win to start off the year. This Penn State team is very good, and Michigan State just rolls in the second half to being down 1.5, come back and win. This Michigan State resume, it's just an interesting one because it's hard to put them in their place because of how they've played so far this year with up and downs. With a loss on the aircraft carrier, a game they really could have won, should have won. They were winning almost all the game, and Drew Timmy starts playing really well, struggled to play really well the game. And then going into the Legends Classic, they beat Kentucky in double overtime. I mean, that's just a great win. The game they probably weren't thought to win, they could have won 1-2. They bounced to 1-1. Then go and beat Villanova, which now is not looking like a great win, but again, Villanova is still a respected program. And then they lose the start to is that the PK? Yeah, I think they lose to start the PK against Alabama, which is not an easy win. I mean, Bama's a really good team. We're going to see how they play against Houston on Saturday because, yeah, Michigan. I mean, this is a tough game. Bama's really good. Brandon Miller's just a star, so falling there isn't bad. Beat an underwhelming Oregon team that's good. Barely beat a Portland team who fought very hard in the PK. That team was just relentless. Every game they played was close. Then they go at Notre Dame for the ACC Big Ten Challenge and lose it. And then they lose at home against Northwestern. So this team has been really up and down. They're just not healthy. That's a big win to get at Penn State after losing 2 in a row. This team still has a lot to improve on. Tom Izzo is going to get this team there. I don't know if they're going to be that top of the Big Ten that you saw after they beat Kentucky. But I feel like this team will be a contender in the Big Ten and can beat any team on any night, as they've shown this year they have. Let's talk about another team in the Big Ten, Indiana. Well, they play Nebraska. Wasn't really a close game. Not really much of importance. But Trace Jackson Davis only gets the third triple double in Indiana men's basketball history. I mean, he's looking like one of the better players in the Big Ten, maybe one of the best besides Zach Yee, a great big man. The senior returns, and he's really just the vocal point of that team. I mean, he could have NBA future. He's a solid big. He's not super big, but he gets the job done, and Indiana cruises to a victory there. And then Virginia Tech moves to 9-1 in a blowout victory against Dayton. What really to say besides that's just what you expect from a good Virginia Tech team. Dayton, who came into this year, supposed to be one of the better teams in the nation, one of the best mid-major. That's just disappointing from Dayton because they were ranked coming in the year. Now they're 5-5. We'll see if the A10's down this year. We'll see if they can bounce back. And then the big result from Thursday was UConn. Does this team have a case for the number one team in the nation? Is UConn basketball officially back with Bobby Hurley? Or Dan Hurley. Sorry, Dan Hurley. I always get confused. Adamas Sanogo. I mean, this dude's just a beast. 17 points against Florida. Colin Castleton, 8 points, 4 for 14 in the field for the star big man for Florida. Going into Florida, dominating, win by 20. That's just a a statement win, clinging off the bench, a freshman big with 16-8. This team really just is looking like maybe the best team in the nation. 10-0. There's only two teams in D1 with 10 wins. Them and UMass Lowell, who got a big one against UMass yesterday. And they've won every game by double digits. They had some easy games there. They beat Buffalo. And then they go to the PK, destroy a weak Oregon team, destroy an Alabama team is very good. Beat Iowa State, who laid a stinker yesterday. We'll talk about that in a little. But then beats Iowa State by 20 and almost 18 in the championship. Then they play Oklahoma State, who's also a tournament caliber team, beats them by 10, and they beat at Florida by 20. This team is one of the best teams in the nation. It's impressive that, these last 2 years, they've built a culture since moving to the Big East. They become one of the better teams in the Big East. Last year, they were really good, but the last few years, the thing about UConn is they've lost in the first round. Last year, they lost Teddy Allen and New Mexico State, and then the year before, they lost to Maryland in the first round, both of them being higher seeds. It's just a time where UConn, is this their year where they can make another tournament run like they have when I was a child? UConn's always been a great program, and then coming back to the Big East, it's really shown that they're still legit after going to the American and being good, but nothing special. So returning to the Big East for them has been huge. And Maryland's and UConn's back to being a household name in college basketball that you need to remember and always talk about them because they're such a good team. And then two results on Friday that were really important was a controversial one in Columbus, Ohio, between Rutgers and Ohio State. Back and forth game there. Rutgers had a big second half lead. Ohio State starts to come back. Rutgers is up 3 with 6 seconds left. Foul. Ohio State makes both free throws, goes down. Rutgers misses one. Boom. Tanner Holden launches a 3 at the buzzer and makes it. Crowd goes crazy. What a win. What a shot by Tanner Holden. But then it comes out that he stepped out of bounds and caught the ball. He was the first person to touch the ball after stepping out of bounds, and apparently the passer was also out of bounds. That's 3 violations right there that the refs missed in plain sight. Rutgers should have deserved to win. Been huge back-to-back wins after being Indiana. I said it on yesterday's Wednesday's pod that I thought Ohio State was going to win this because this is a game that Rutgers usually loses after being getting a big win at home. It just wasn't the case for Rutgers tonight. I mean, a big game from Cliffo Amori and Hyatt, but Caleb McDonald, their great defensive player, struggled. And then Zed Key has 22 points for them, which is huge. This Ohio State team is still good. They've always been good now. But yeah, I mean, just sucks that you can't review that stuff in the last couple minutes of the game. I think it should be you can review if a player's foot's on the line or if he got the shutdown time, but you can't remove them guys stepped out of bounds before the pass or when he got the pass. I just don't think that should be allowed. Oh, I do think it should be allowed that you should be able to review whether or not a player stepped out of bounds before a shot, especially when it's in the last seconds of the game, which is literally the reason if it's going to be a win or a loss for the team on both sides. But yeah, I mean, Rutgers is still a good team. They're a team that will and can win on any night. Ohio State does move to 7-2. A big win for them after coming off the loss to Duke last week. And another team that lost to Duke, who had to bounce back, was Iowa. Iowa playing their rival in Iowa City, a home game against the Cyclones, come out there and dominate Iowa State. Again, this was a tough game for me to predict. I can't remember what I exactly said, but I do remember it being close between Iowa. And I think I did pick Iowa State because I said I did not like what Iowa did against Duke. And they come out here and get Fran McCaffrey's 500th career win at home against their rivals. That's such a cool sight for them. big game. And they do it without Chris Murray, which is really just a tell for this team. He was out, and it clearly didn't matter. They were up 20 at half. So in the second half, it probably wasn't the full effort given by Iowa. They did play their stars a lot of minutes. But Kalsher comes off the bench, has 12, leads them in scoring. Just a struggle game from Caleb Grill, 0 for 5 and 3. Kalsher was 1 for 7 for 3. Bad shooting night for Iowa State. They dug themselves in the hole in the first half, and they battled to the end. But I mean, it doesn't matter. They ended up losing by 19 to a good Iowa team who still should be ranked going in the next week. That's just Iowa. Good win for Iowa. We'll see them. How well they can play in the Big Ten. And that was Thursday and Friday games. Sorry, I got a response. I say a lot. Well, I'm just trying to think about what to say. So I guess that's just what happens, So those are Thursday and Friday's games. Today, again, I mentioned out on the Wednesday's podcast. I wasn't sure when this one was going to come out. That Gonzaga plays Washington. I predict that Washington will win. Not Washington. Gonzaga will win, even though they haven't looked great after they beat Kent State by a small margin. So we got a lot of good games on Saturday and Sunday. So let's get into them. Let's talk about them. We'll throw out some predictions. We'll see what the spreads are. Maybe not the spreads. I don't know if they're out. But just talk about these games because there's a lot of interesting ones. Let's start about 1 o'clock on ESPN2. We have number 9 Arkansas going to Oklahoma to play the Sooners. This is a tough one because Arkansas has struggled in these last couple of games. Nick Smith coming back is huge for them, but they still keep looking good. But is the team, bonding and getting everyone touches the same with him back? Him and Anthony Black will be one of the better backcourts, if not the best backcourt later in the year. But they've struggled in their last couple of games ever since Maui when they lost that game to Creighton. They haven't looked great. So this is a game for Oklahoma to try to just get a staple win. This team for Oklahoma, they lost. Their coach retired, and now they're playing. So I think this is a neutral game actually because it's in Bank of Oklahoma Center. This Oklahoma team again hasn't really had a staple win. They got to win at Seton Hall, a weaker Seton Hall team with Shaheen Holiday's first year, and they lose at Villanova in a close one, which right now it's not a great. And then they also opened the season with a loss to Sam Houston, which isn't the worst loss because Sam Houston's look really good this year. They've pulled off a couple upsets, but that's a home game against Sam Houston's. That's a game you should win. And then they beat at Galwin, at Nebraska, and home against Ole Miss. So those are some decent wins, but this is their biggest test yet against Arkansas. If they can win this game, they could cement themselves as a Big 12 competitor. And then Arkansas, on the other hand, again, they had a big win against San Jose State. They barely beat San Diego State. We'll see if Arkansas can get a win after struggling against UNCG. I think Arkansas will win this game, but they will be an upset alert. Definitely believe that they will. I definitely don't see this being an easy one for Arkansas. And then at 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus is a West Coast matchup. It'll be an early tip. It'll be San Diego State versus St. Mary's. Both of these teams, mid-major teams that have a kind of disappointed this year. St. Mary's has not been great this year for sure. They're actually a favorite in this game, which is interesting because they've been up and down. They've lost some games they shouldn't have. But yeah, I mean, this will be a good game. They actually played close against Houston. They lost New Mexico. They've lost to Washington. And then they came back and won against Missouri State by game. So they've lost. They were coming off losing out on 3 of their last 4 games, playing in San Diego State. They're favorites in this game. I don't agree with that. I do think that San Diego State's the better team. I'm going to predict them to win this game. I like the way they play. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. They want to grind out the games. After losing 2 in Maui, they were very disappointed. And they've had 3 easier games so far. I just like the team. Matt Bradley, this dude's a beast all over the court. You got Ladie, and you got Butler, Micah Parrish, Trammell, all these guards that love to defend and get in your face, get out in transition. I'm going to have apparently upset San Diego State beating St. Mary's. That will definitely be a good one. And then really the game of the week in Houston, the rematch from last year where Houston went into Bama and won. It's Alabama Houston. Houston's first real test of the season. The number 1 ranked team in the country is trying to hold on for when they go play Virginia in Charlottesville next Saturday. A team led by Marcus Sasser, Jarris Walker, a team that again prides itself on the defensive end. Is not scared to get out on the floor and get in transition too. They score. They haven't been a great scoring team so far, but their defense is still always up there. The advanced metrics are all awesome, but this is the first real test against a strong Alabama team who's beat Carolina this year. Alabama led by the freshman, Brandon Miller. This guy's a star, going to be a future lottery pick. Alabama's really trying to cement themselves a statement win, become a top 5 team in the country if they get this win. Marcus Sasser, again, their leading player. Tremont Mark, great player. Jarris Walker, the freshman, really good. Jamal Shed. This team is deep. This team isn't afraid to go into 9 players, play people that are on the bench if they are playing better. And that's what Kelvin Sampson loves to do. That's why I love his style of coaching, because he's really not afraid to trust his team. And that's what I love in a coach right there. He trusts his players. And then for Alabama, you got Clowney and Burnett, and Javon Quinterly came back from his knee injury and has looked really good this year in the games he's played coming off the bench. I think this game will be close, but at Houston. They beat Bama last year at Bama. I think Houston gets the staple win. I want to see a 1 versus 2 matchup next week in Charlottesville, and I think we're going to get that. I think Houston holds on. ABC, 3 o'clock, must-watch game. Tune it in. This is the first real test of Houston on the year. We got to see if they're a legit team. I'm excited to see that. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really great game. Then we have another one in Memphis versus Auburn. Auburn, again, undefeated. They're one of the only undefeated teams left, but just don't have a statement win. They haven't looked amazing in their wins. But at the end of the day, people will say a win's a win, and I agree. Auburn's undefeated. No team's been able to go in and win this game, and they're going to play Memphis. That's not going to be an easy test. Memphis has bounced back after a slowish start to the year, and that's what you like to see. Penny Hardaway is doing his thing down the coaching. They're an older team, something that Memphis was not used to in the earlier years of Penny Hardaway. He's adjusted nicely to the way they played. Again, this neutral court game in Atlanta on ESPN2 at 5 o'clock. Auburn's 2-point favorites. I think this is the game that Memphis upsets them. Memphis played a really hard schedule. Ole Miss, Seton Hall, VCU, St. Louis, Vanderbilt. These are not bye games. They've only had around 2 bye games, I think. Looking at their schedule, this Memphis team's ready and tested, and I think they're going to pull off a win. I do think this upset, I'm calling it right now, Memphis beats Auburn. Kendrick Davis, the star transfer guard, is going to have a huge game for Memphis, and they're going to knock off an undefeated Auburn team who I'm just not believing in Bruce Pearl's squad at the moment in time. The next game at 5:15 on ESPN is an unexpected but goodie, a rivalry, a used-to-be conference rivalry. It's Kansas at Missouri. Missouri is one of the final teams that are undefeated. Yes, they haven't really played a great opponent. I am aware of that. But this game means so much to Missouri. They're trying to get back into the tournament. They're under the first-year head coach to beat their rival Kansas, the defending national championships, the former national champion. Missouri's trying to move to 10-0. I don't have a stat, but I'm guessing that's the first time in a while they've been 10-0 in the season. And this is a test. Kansas, of course, led by Jalen Wilson. He's progressed amazingly after he was a starter on the national championship team, but he's progressed into a number one option. He's averaging over 20 points a game. He's a great player. The freshman, Grady Dick, has looked amazing. This Kansas team has been up and down throughout the year. They've played in a lot of close games. They have some big wins over Duke. It's just Missouri, could they do it? Yes. Will I think it'll happen? No. Missouri's +3. I'm gonna go with Kansas though. I'll take a point. I'll take the points. I think it will be close. I think Missouri's gonna give them a fight, but I'm not so confident that Missouri can beat Kansas. Kansas is well rested. They're gonna come in here. They know this game means everything to Mizzou. And I think they're just going to silence the crowd. It'll be close in the first half. It'll be close in the middle of the second half. I think in the final 5 to 6 minutes, Kansas will pull away, win by about 7 or 8 points, is my prediction for that one. And then really the nightcapper on Saturday is Arizona and Indiana in Las Vegas. It's a pick'em, a neutral game. Both these teams have one loss on the year. Indiana lost to Rutgers, and Arizona lost to Utah. And here's the game where one of these teams will cement themselves as one of the best teams in the country. Another one will follow 2 losses. Again, if it's a close game, maybe my opinions won't change too much about one of them. And Arizona was a team that came into this year where I wasn't totally sure how they were going to look, losing 3 NBA draft picks. That's just hard to come back on, losing Dalen Terry, Christian Koloko, and of course, Benedict Mathurin, who looked amazing in the NBA for the Pacers. And shout out to Andrew Nemhard, looking amazing for the Pacers. But yeah, this is a really tough game. Even Vegas has it as a pick'em. It's really tough to tell. A neutral game. Indiana coming off a big game from Trace. Arizona, coming back after having a bounce back W after losing to Utah. It's just a game for Arizona or Indiana will be a statement win. I'm going to go with it's really tough to call because both these teams looked so good this year. Besides one game where they just laid a stinker, both these teams played in. No, wait, did Indiana? I don't think actually Indiana did play in the tournament. Arizona won Maui. Arizona did win Maui. Tubelis, Amobalo, Kirk Kriisa, Courtney Ramey, Texas transfer. This Arizona team's super deep. I'm going to have them winning. It's closer to home. Not as a long trip. Mike Woodson will be ready. He will bring his team in. And I think they're going to give a fight. This one's going to be close. I don't see a blowout for either side. I'm going to have Arizona winning this game. I think they have good defense for Trace Jackson Davis with Tubelis and Omar Ballo, 2 bigs. I think that's going to be a struggle for Indiana. I got the Wildcats winning one in Vegas. This will be a big win. This will pretty much winning this game will just like throw that Utah game out the window. And I forget a lot of people I think people forget that Arizona did lose to Utah because it was like a random night game, Pac-12 network. Not a lot of people really tuned into that one, and they did lose, which, it is a loss. It will count against them, but it's not going to be, it's not going to be totally like heart-wrenching and going to be something that people are going to look back on and just be like, ugh, terrible. Let's move on to some other notable games that we won't talk too long about. We got Penn State trying to get bounced away at Illinois. I think at Illinois is going to win that one. Coming off a big win in Madison Square Garden. I love this matchup. It's the battle of the shitters. Sorry, bad teams. Louisville against Florida State. Florida State's probably going to win this one because they're at home and Louisville's really bad. Florida State's pretty bad. I don't know if they're really bad. They did play Virginia close. We got Kentucky playing Yale, easy win there. So I'm trying to look. And then here, I'm wearing an NC State shirt. I'm not an NC State fan, but I did go through a basketball camp, so I just have the shirt. I'm not an NC State fan. I don't like to say it at all. But they do play at Miami. This is a really good game. Both teams looked very good. NC State looked really good. Travion Smith will be an NBA player next year. And of course, Nigel Pack, the transfer, Isaiah Wong. This Miami team who made the Elite Eight last year is back, and I think they're underrated. Not a lot of people are talking about them. I honestly think they might be the third best team in the ACC. They're definitely a top 4 team in the ACC, in my opinion, but NC State could be a top 5 team as well. I'm gonna have Miami win this at home. This is gonna be a good game. On ESPN Plus, if you had it, it could be a game you tune into before the Houston and Alabama game. Let's move on. Wake Forest plays at LSU. A couple of 1-loss teams, or maybe 2 loss. I actually can't remember, but I think Wake will lose this game. LSU lost a lot of players from the transfer portal, from decommitting after firing Will Wade. But I'm gonna have LSU win this game at home. I don't really know much about Wake Forest. I knew they lost Adonis and Jake LaRavia last year, so this team's trying to rebuild, and they've done pretty good so far at doing that, for sure. Villanova plays Boston College. That should just be that should be just a win for Villanova. Boston College lost. Was it to UMass Lowell? They lost to someone bad. I can't remember who it was. They might have just lost to UMass. They lost to a bad team. Okay, I just remember they lost a lot. They lost to a bad team. So I'm trying to go through the line here and just see games. Like Oregon playing Nevada doesn't really mean anything. So I'm going through games. Sorry. Should be more prepared. Okay, I think that's it for Saturday. And Sunday, there's some great games on Sunday, which sucks because when they're doing these good games on Sunday, especially like 2:00, 3:00, like I'm sorry, I don't think a lot of people will be watching that unless you're a really hardcore college basketball fan. And I am a hardcore college basketball fan. I'll be monitoring these games, but I'm going to be watching football. It's the last week of fantasy season. So shout out to Josh Jacobs. Yeah, he had 19 on Thursday last night. You know, not a great game, but can't complain about 19 points. BYU takes on Creighton. This should be a win for Creighton. They're trying to bounce back. They've lost 3 in a row. BYU's just been 500 this year. They're not great. In Vegas as well at 12 a.m. So this is like a 12 a.m. Oh my God. I'm stupid. 12 a.m. Okay, it's a midnight game. So technically it's a Saturday night game. Because I'm reading that, I'm like, 12 a.m. No way they're tipping off at 9. And I was like, oh, wait, 9 there. So, yeah, I won't be tuning in now. I'm assuming Creighton's going to win that one. I'll wake up and find out. I will wake up and find out if they win that game. Virginia Tech's got another little test at Barclays at 2. So, like, I'm not going to be watching this. There's no shot I'll watch this. But Virginia Tech has got a little test against Oklahoma State. Both teams try to be a tournament team. Virginia Tech's look really good. They beat UNC. They beat Dayton. This should be another win. And if they win this game, you'll see them in the rankings on Monday. If not, they'll be in my heart. They'll be ranked, even though I don't like Virginia Tech at all. Notre Dame's got a game against Marquette. Hosting Marquette. Both good 2 teams. Marquette, came off a couple of losses. They beat Baylor, and then they've struggled in their last 2 games. Notre Dame did lose last Saturday to Syracuse at home. So both these teams trying to get another resume-building win. I probably Notre Dame's probably going to win that one because they're at home, but I wouldn't put anything past them to lose this game because they did lose to Syracuse. And then the big one on Sunday at 4:30 on Fox, FS1 actually, is Tennessee, Maryland. This is a huge game for both these teams. Maryland coming off a loss. Who did Maryland just lose to? It's a really good team. I know Maryland is lost to it. Oh, Maryland came off a loss to Wisconsin. Tennessee coming off a couple of big wins. This is a game in Brooklyn in the Barclays. This game will be huge for Maryland. I think this is game bigger for Maryland because then they got to go play UConn, I believe, and then going into a tough Big Ten schedule. So this is a game where I think it's either make or break. Not make or break, but a game that really shows the true colors of this team from Maryland. Tennessee has one loss in the year, a kind of upset game to Colorado that really no one saw coming at all. And then they came in, won Atlantis, dominated Kansas really the whole game, and they haven't had a real tough match since. And this is the game for Tennessee. I think they're going to win. I really love watching Maryland. They're one of the most fun teams to watch. They shoot a lot of threes. Dante Scott's amazing. But Tennessee, man, this team's good. Zakai Zila, Vescovy, Josiah Joseph James. This team loves to get up and down the floor. They shoot a lot of threes. Even if they don't make them, their defense is so good that I think they're just going to give Maryland problems. The best team Maryland's played all year. I don't see them winning this game. I know Maryland has a couple good wins this year. They were undefeated up until they played Wisconsin. And this will be a close one, but give me the Volunteers at Barclays to win. I really need a partner for this because my mouth gets drier than the Sahara Desert. I just need a big water break. Sorry. Seton Hall plays Rutgers. Shaheen Holloway gets another test. Rutgers is a little New Jersey battle. Rutgers should win this. This is a bounce back win at home for Rutgers. I'm predicting there. Just gotta get the win after taking a controversial to Ohio State. And then a big Big Ten showdown at 6:30 is Wisconsin versus Iowa. Both teams are coming off big wins. Wisconsin against Maryland and Iowa against Iowa State. If Iowa's third game of the week, if Iowa wins this game, then they'll be ranked. And if they don't win, they're probably not going to be ranked because I don't think they're going to rank a team after 2 losses in a week who is not ranked right now. And Wisconsin, I think that this is a game where if Wisconsin loses, will they be ranked? I don't know. It'll be tough going 1-1 in a week after beating Maryland. This one will be. I think this is one of the best games because this is a Wisconsin team again. I talked about them on Wednesday, a team that you don't expect to be where they're at, but they are. They looked so good this year after losing Johnny Davis, Brad Davidson, their 2 best players from last year, and then coming back reloading with younger guys. Tyler Wall still there, Crowell, Chucky Hepburn. I love the way they play in this Iowa team. Let's see if they get Chris Murray back because they're going to need him. They did look good without him, but again, you're going to need one. Your probably best player if you want to win a game. And then Mississippi State trying to stay undefeated against Minnesota. That's really the only other notable game there, but I'm looking out for, of course, Tennessee, Maryland, and Wisconsin, Iowa on Sunday. Those are a lot of good games over the weekend. This is going to be a star-studded weekend. This is where, when we come back on Monday, we're going to have a lot to talk about. We're going to be seeing if Houston can stay undefeated, and if we're going to have a 1 versus 2 matchup next Saturday, which will be like, I'm just going to be so excited because as a Virginia fan, that's going to be super nerve-wracking to watch because if you win that game, you're going to be number 1 ranked team in the country probably. Because I'm guessing Virginia's going to be 2 because AP, I don't think is going to move Purdue over Virginia since who lost? Who's the 2 team in the country right now? I'm always tripping out. I always forget. Texas lost to Illinois, yes. So yes, I think it's gonna be 1 versus 2 if Houston can hang on. That'll be a huge story. Maybe the 1 seed, the first ranked team in the country will play. Will any other higher teams fall? We'll see. Because almost all ranked teams play besides Virginia, I think, this weekend, and Baylor don't play. But this will be a tough one. Tough weekend. A lot of teams will show their true colors, which always is exciting to see, just for the reason that you're gonna see a team that we think is gonna be really good, and then turn out to lay a stinker or prove it, and that's always fun to see. One last note for this is that if anyone wants to join, let me know. I would love to have someone on and talk because, again, my voice, my throat, it gets really dry after talking a lot. So, yeah, it's tough. I'm trying to improve the production. It's hard because I don't really have a lot of software. I just have I'm literally recording this on Zoom. If, as you can see, you probably can see my name right here. I don't know if that's where it is. I'm guessing that's where it is. So I just record on Zoom, put the file over to YouTube, upload a thumbnail, and do that. I'm doing it all by myself. So, but no, I'm enjoying doing this. I can't wait to watch these games on Saturday. Hopefully, I won't miss too much because of the ACT, because I think it's in the morning. I don't even know when it goes to. So we'll see how much I miss. Hopefully, I don't miss too much of the Bama Houston game, because I think I do have like a basketball thing at 3. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be tuned in. I'll be talking about it on Monday. Tune into that because it's gonna be a massive episode. We gotta talk a whole lot of shit. The AP rankings will be out. All the games. My thoughts will be there. So Monday will probably be like the biggest episode of this whole thing. But this one was good. Again, when you heard me talking about those games, I think you should lay some bets in, because I might have to start. I bet I'm up. I made a lot of money. You can do the same if you just listen to me. No, but seriously, don't actually listen to me, because like I don't want like to give you false bets. But you can take my advice if you want. Needless to say is it won't be good Sunday because the Redskins don't play, so I don't have to stress. But good luck to your favorite college basketball team. Hopefully they pull out a dub. Yeah, because my Virginia doesn't play anyone this week, so I don't have to root against anyone. We'll see if Carolina also can bounce back against Georgia Tech. This is like a must-win game for Carolina. It's gonna be a real teller. But yeah, that's it. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. Love you guys. Peace out for episode 3. Bye.